going on? We live. We back. Why? There's a reason. Because we destined for greatness. See, that's the reason why we back right now. Because let me tell you what happened. First of all, let me introduce myself for those that did not tune in earlier. You know, my name is Devin. Some of y'all know me by D Woods. I'm here with my very intelligent co-host, Krista. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here, Devin.
All right, I'm glad that we back at it. You just showed me that you are a true soldier right now because this is something that you did not have to do, right?
Right. You've had me
Right?
since 2, 3 hours now.
Nah. I mean, we let each other go. Don't try me. But so the point is that we worked it out to the point where I had some technical difficulties. You know what I'm saying? And I it sounded bad, and the message was too good. So if you watched already and you don't watch again, I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? You could just share this. You know what I'm saying? Let other people know to share the information. But we're gonna go in once again. You know?
All right. Yes, I'm so glad. I love what you said, destined for greatness. When you understand your purpose or you understand where you're going and you keep that focus there, your that end goal, you don't give up just because something didn't go right the first time. We live, we learn, and now we're better.
Hey, this is what I'm trying to say. How real this episode is going to be is because the enemy, the whole point of the show is about mental health, right?
Yes.
It's dealing with mental health,
Yes.
and this is a situation where people fight or flight. That just happened to me, right? I'm
Yes.
going I'm going through sobriety right now, and I really fought hard to get this show right. I wanted my audio right. I wanted my co-host right. So I made a couple posts to put it out, but I hesitated. It's because I wanted to do it right. So then I come out and my audio was crazy bad, right? I called my prayer warrior. I called my sister, right? She next thing I know, she prays a prayer. I'm like, whoa! All of a sudden, my enlightenment just came, and all of a sudden, I figured out exactly what the problem was, and I sound better than ever. And praise Jesus that you know what I'm saying. That's what you have to do when you're in a test and you're going through things. You cannot give up. You know what I'm saying? It's
Amen.
like that's what it wanted me to do. It wanted to be like Devin.
Yes.
Hey, you're not good enough to do the podcast. It sounded bad. Hey, Devin, man, you might as well just give up, man. Nah, that ain't what I did. That is not what I did. I said, nope, nope, we back at it.
Right? You have to know. That's one thing. Just like how you're a man, there's nothing I can do to convince you that you're a woman. And that's how you have to get with your purpose and with your destiny, or even with a vision that God has given you. I read somewhere earlier this
Facts.
week, someone posted, Your prophecy is your weapon, right? That
Mm-hmm.
is your weapon. So when you feel down, you're like, No, I already know I'm destined for greatness. This is going to happen no matter what. And as we talked about
I'm
earlier, your
telling you.
team, you called your team. You knew that you had that person in the pocket. Like, okay, I know I can count on this person to
Ooh,
come
say it
through.
again.
That's why we have the
Yo,
team.
just say that one more time for me though, so people can hear
You're
what the important part of that was.
Yes, having that team, having your go to, knowing who is in your pocket and who's going to be there, like in your case, to lift you up in prayer. Absolutely. Those are things that we have to control over. Who is in our life?
Hey, she asked as I said that she just texted me and said, "We ain't got time to play with the devil and his tricks." That's what she just texted me. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
right.
So it's real. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say right now is mental I could have broke down. I could have made that a reason to go drink. I could have made that a reason to be angry. I could have made that a reason to stop. And instead I said, ha ha ha, I'm gonna laugh. I'm still gonna do it. And we're still gonna give this information. So we're not gonna be as long as last time, but we are gonna give some important information. So we're speaking on mental health, right?
Right.
What is your perspective of mental health in the community, and what are some of the problems in your eyes?
I think one of the biggest problems when it comes to mental health is the lack of acknowledgement. I really feel that's going to be the biggest problem because if you don't realize that there's an issue or you have a problem, or even we sweep it under the rug when our friends tell us, hey, dog, I don't feel good. Oh, it's okay, man. You know what I mean? Just, oh, let's go out. Let's go do this. Let's do a distraction. But I think that's one of the issues is just not acknowledging that there is an issue.
Wow. And I mean, that's what you have to do with step one to anything. Anything in life that you're trying to conquer, whether it's you want to get to the gym and work out, whether it's you want to start that business plan. Because what I mean by business plan is you got to say, I'm broke. So what do I have to do not to be broke to invest in this and stop focus on being broke? You got to figure out
Right.
how to invest, right? So if you want to work out, you got to figure out it's a 1 day thing. If I work out every single day, there will be a result. We can't give
Right.
up so fast on anything, and sometimes we give up way too fast.
Right. That is, whew. Just like what you said today. We could have said, oh, that's a sign. We're not supposed to do it. Our first one didn't mess up. And it's like, no, that's why it's so important. Um, I really believe is to spend that quiet time to
Yes.
make true decisions so that you can move forward. Like I believe God made us powerful, right? He made us just like him. How did he make everything? With his words, right? So if God said, oh, let something happen, what would have happened? Nothing. He was specific. He said, this is going to happen. So just like what we are here, we're specific. This is going to happen. We're going to do this, and nothing's going to stop it.
Nothing is about to stop this right here. And I want you to read this. Let's just start off with this ASAP this time. You know what I'm saying? This is too important. So go ahead and read this. This is the scripture of the week. So go ahead and please read this and let's break this thing down right here.
Okay. Um, well, let's read verse 6
Okay,
first,
let's
if
read.
you
Oh,
still have it.
Excuse me. There it is. It's still there. There it is.
Okay. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present yourselves to God.
Woo. Can you please just read that one more time? Because sometimes people got to hear things 2 times.
Do not be anxious about anything.
Flat out.
What does that mean, you think? Do not be anxious.
Because anxiety is what is what it is. Anxiety is what mental health pretty much is in a lot of people's case. Is anxiety. So God is telling us off rip, you're going to have anxiety. He told us you're going to have anxiety. But what did he say next? He answered that though in the next verse. What did he say?
But in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. I believe that when God gives us something to do, He
Yes.
also shows us how to do it, right?
Flat out.
So in this case, He knows that anxiety is going to come. And recapping, and for everybody that's new, well, I talked about this earlier. Things happen in life, especially things that happen outside of our circumstances or outside of our control, where we don't have any control over that. So the example I used was if something hits you, boom, it hurts, right? You feel the pain. You might say, ouch. None of that really was in your control or you did anything wrong. Same thing when those anxieties or mental pressures come onto you. Yes, you may have negative or adverse thoughts, but what you're going to do is you're going to resist that, right? Just like in the
Facts.
Bible, he says, resist the devil, it will flee. In this case, it's do not be anxious. I'm going to reword that and say, resist that anxiety and then give praise and give thanks.
Say that right there.
Become
Stop right
a
there.
place of gratitude.
Praise, and thanks.
Uh-huh.
So thanksgiving though. You see the second part of that?
Uh-huh.
The one way God definitely blesses us is the giving nature. When you
Yes.
feel down and you feel bad and you feel hit somebody up and say something nice and their response can change your personality. And you can think that's not true, try it one time. When you feeling kind of like high anxiety and you feeling down, read this part right here. By prayer and petition with thanksgiving. We need to stop being so selfish. We need to stop being so selfish. Because if we actually read what God is telling us, He's giving us the answers to our problems.
Absolutely.
So everything, this scripture that you pulled up is absolutely perfect for this topic.
Yes. One thing I do with my children, I have a teenager. She's going to be 17, and they have a lot of emotional, hormonal things like that. And she have days where she feels just down and low. And one thing that I have her do to pick herself up is I say, take a walk and just start saying what you're thankful for. When you're in that place, that low, dark place, it's difficult to pull yourself out. As a matter of fact, you may not even want to. You might feel like, I need to stay here. So when she says, I don't know, what to be thankful for, mom, you're walking, right? You're going to take a walk. Start being thankful for your feet and your legs and your hands and your voice and your mouth. Just start with the simple.
Start being
And
thankful. So
it will
basically,
literally start to transform you.
sometimes we might just be praying in the incorrect way. It's like I think that we ask for things other than asking for more works. Because if we ask for more works, God's going to give us more to work with.
Yes.
You see, so if you're asking for one thing to fix, he's like, it's already fixed. You just haven't noticed that it's been fixed because you haven't
Mm,
forgiven yourself. I forgiven you, but you haven't forgiven you. So that's
mhm.
where he knew we had anxiety because we don't know how to forgive ourselves.
That is that. That is a big one. It's one thing when you're upset with someone else. It's another thing when you're upset with something outside. You can kind of disassociate yourself. But when you're angry with yourself, that's a very difficult thing. Trust and believe.
But a lot of people don't know they're angry with themselves. They blame it on others. Putting
Hmm.
the blame on others is what brings the hateful nature.
Hmm.
Sometimes because dealing with your own stuff is hard.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of people don't like to be around people that are around church a lot and stuff like that because they say that they're judgmental. Like, I don't know too many. There are very judgmental people in church, right? But I think it's the fact that you reflecting on your own self when you're around that person. They make you think about the things you need to work on, and you rather not be around that person because maybe you don't want to work on those things right now. I still want to turn up. I still want to have fun. So I'm still going to have anxiety, was God saying to us. You're still going to have anxiety then because you're not doing what these simple words are saying.
Mm, interesting. But I do believe self-reflection is so important, and we don't do enough of that.
We don't
Definitely.
do enough of it. So what about earlier you were speaking of about the health portion of it being really, really important, dealing with mental
Oh,
health,
mhm.
like your actual physical health.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Your physical health as well. I we forgot verse 7
Oh, go ahead.
because
Keep
even
going.
though God says, "Do not be anxious," He
Hold on.
says,
Let me open it up for them. There it is. Hold on. I got it for you. There you go.
in every situation, by prayer and petition, give thanks, and then there's a reward. Okay, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus.
Ooh,
So
okay.
after you've resisted, you've given thanks. Now God says, I'm going to give you my peace. And my peace is not only going to come upon you, but it's going to help guard you from future issues.
Wow. Hold on. So one thing that I have to say, this is our Lord and Savior that is speaking to us. And all of this information is privy for you. Like, we're going to put this inside the comments. This verse, can you please put this all of these verses inside the comments for them, copy and put them in the comments for the
Okay.
for our people so they can actually see it as well.
Okay.
Because what we're trying to do right here with Destined for Greatness and prove that we're all destined for greatness, right? So since we're getting spiritual, let me understand. God put us here to till the grounds. He did not cause rain until man was here to till the grounds, right? Which means we're all destined for something as
Mm,
mankind. We are
yes.
here for a sole purpose. And the enemy is trying to distract you from your sole purpose. And the only ways he can distract you from your sole purpose is by giving you the pleasures of life, which is lust, which is your eye and your flesh. So you have to resist that. You don't have to be perfect. And God said you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be resistant. Because if you're resistant, I know that you at least believe in me. That's where the word faith comes in.
And let God take over. It looks like here he's saying, hey, you do your part. Guess what? I'm going to do this and I'm going to help you in the future.
He's going to always take over. He took over in my situation.
But if you
Like I,
don't surrender,
like I
there's
had
no
to surrender.
takeover.
This podcast wouldn't happen right now if I didn't surrender. I surrendered. I said, you know what, God? I need a prayer because the enemy is trying to stop me from doing Destined for Greatness podcast. And I ain't going to let that happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to spread positive messages. Every day we're going to have something different that we speak on. We're not experts in any of this stuff, but we do care. And we want your comments. We want you to put comments in there. We want you to open up dialogue and give us more things to talk about as you watch our show. We want participation from all of our guests because all of you guys are destined for greatness. This is not for me and her. This is for us. We're trying to spread a message that mental health is something we have to control, and it starts with our addictions. And not all addictions are drug or alcohol. Some addictions are bad relationships. Some addictions are bad relationships. Let me say that again. The bad relationship with a father, with a mother, with a spouse, with a sibling, bad relationships cause mental health. Is one part of it. Because now your trust and your guards are not up. And now you don't trust. So when you don't trust, if you don't trust man, how you gonna trust God? So people are not trustworthy of anything.
trust trust God first and give to him, and then all these things will be added to you. And I feel like that's over and over and over again. Every time that we do get a command, there's okay, and then this shall be added unto you once you've done your part. So your first part is giving it to God. That's difficult for some people because we want to hold on.
Yes.
We have pride and we want to say what I did, right? Well,
Facts.
I did this and I did that. So sometimes, a lot of times is no, it's not true. You know, you give it away, you say, here, I can give this to God and allow him to give you the tools to be able to deal with life. Because life is always going to happen. It's not
So
going to
this
stop.
is so this is where it's exactly. That's a good point. That's a good segue. So what I'm speaking of is everything is about being honest with self, right? If you're not honest with yourself, then you're not going to honestly accept help when it's there in front of you. You're not going to want to. You're not going to know how to accept it. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to know how to accept help because you don't know what help is because you don't want it. I had people that cared about me, right? But I had to care about me until for it to matter. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because unfortunately, people are only going to treat you how you allow. So
Yes, and
whatever
that
you've
is
allowed, that's what will remain until you say no or yes.
yes. I agree. And thank you for everybody tuning in right now, checking in. I see all the people coming in and out. I love it. I love it. Watch it later. We're going to keep hitting you. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, you know what I'm saying? We're going to hit a nerve and you're going to want to just listen because all we trying to do right now is do exactly what we all should do. You know what we should do right now, Krista?
Yes, sir. What? I
I
was
think
reading
I
comments
think
on
we should
Facebook.
all do self evaluations. That's it. Just
Okay.
write some things down about self that you want to fix. I think everybody, including me, everybody should just write 3 things. Or you know what I'm saying, that we want. Even one thing. We could just start with that one thing that you want to fix about yourself. And this just from today until next Monday when we all meet again. You know what I'm saying? Let's see how good we did from today until Monday. How we actually did with just one goal.
Right. Self-reflection.
So what is your goal? You're training. So what is that? Is that your goal?
My goal right now, honestly, if in regards to this, is for me, I really need to work on expressing myself when it's time. A lot of times, I kind of suppress myself because I feel like I don't want to cause a problem right now, or maybe I feel it's an uncomfortable conversation. And then what ends up happening to me is that's on the inside of me. And then I packs down and something else happens and something else happens and then I explode. So now I seem like a crazy person, right?
Yeah.
But really, I'm not crazy. I'm just not dealing with those emotions as they come. I'm kind of just like suppressing them. Like, okay, well, I'm not feeling that right now, or that's not that
So
important.
when you say suppressing, you said something very interesting earlier, and what you said was, you think that it's all right for certain things, for certain. What do you say? What did you say earlier? You think for certain things to be acceptable for
Oh, for I said different coping
oh
mechanisms.
coping mechanisms. Okay, that's what you
Yeah, we
said.
all. I said we all have coping mechanisms. Of course, there's things where they can be in excess. But earlier, I remember we were talking about like some people may have different outlets, which is fine. Like for instance, let's use working out. Some people use working out as their de-stress, right?
Mm-hmm.
They need to let off some steam, release some energy. However, that's fine. But there could be an excess there, you know, where you're like, I'm not eating today. I'm just gonna work out 4 times, you
Yes.
know. So a coping mechanism is not necessarily a negative thing. Just like eating chocolate cake isn't negative. But if you eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day, it is. So the same thing with coping mechanisms in moderation, I guess.
So what kind of coping mechanisms are you speaking of? Because don't be acting like we was talking about everything being positive. Best keep it real on this show. We got to keep it real.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, it might be negative
No,
to
let's be
you.
real. If we're not,
It
if
might
we
be
don't got,
negative
we
to you.
gotta.
So, for
No,
instance,
no. I'm saying it's not everything is not negative. Everybody. That's what's gonna open up the dialect. Is what I'm trying to say. You were saying certain coping mechanisms are okay, right? Like, so somebody has anxiety, smoking weed is straight to you,
mhm,
right? The
I think it's
world, we
fine.
all agree with that. That because it's medical. It's been
Right.
proven, right? It's been proven that, but there's a problem when it comes to consumption
Yeah. I mean,
and
I
when
got
you're
bills
doing
to
it.
pay, and I'm spending all my money on this. Like that's
But
a,
there's
like
people that's actually doing that.
you're
There's people's
not.
priorities that's jacked up like
Yeah.
that. My homeboy D Double, you know what I'm saying? He actually said that. He said there's people out here that will buy a line, buy a line of lean, you know what I'm saying, before they buy a winter coat. That is a
Yeah,
very true state. People
it's a
basically
problem.
his point
That
was
means
your priorities
you're
are
not
messed up.
trying to face reality in that point.
He's like,
It's
people
like
would
you just
rather
want to
spend their
escape
money on
reality
drugs.
altogether, not have any connection to reality. Now you really have some mental health problems. You have
Facts.
to have that connection with reality.
Yes. Yes, but okay, so marijuana is one that I think a lot of people will agree is one that is a great coping mechanism, right? But to me, I feel like it can be abused.
Oh, definitely.
I feel like there's people that abuse medical marijuana.
Yeah. I mean, but you can abuse anything.
But
Like
that's my point, though. So
I use
if
the
what if your
definition.
coping mechanism is the abuse? That's where the problem lies.
If you're abusing your coping, well, that means you're not again the same thing I said in the beginning when you asked me, Krista, what do you think the biggest problem is? It's not acknowledging the issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I acknowledge I have an anger issue, why do I have an anger issue, right? But if I'm like, no, I don't have an anger issue. It's you. You're bothering me, and I have the right to be angry right now, and I have the right to be on a 10. And it's like, no, you need to get to the point where you're like, okay, I am having outbursts. Why am I having these outbursts? And what am I going to do to do better? Instead, a lot of times we have issues and we will go to that coping mechanisms always and never, ever, ever deal or even acknowledge that there is an issue. You're not even saying to yourself, you know what, I am doing this because I'm angry. You're just like, I'm doing this because I like it. It's what I like to do. Is it? Or are
There
you?
are people that say that. They say they do it just because they like to do it. That is fact.
Or are you just trying to? I know that's why I said it that way. I talk to them, and it's like,
but there
well,
are people that need it. I know folks that actually need it as well, though. So that's what I'm saying. So when it comes down to mental health part, right? Let's stay on right where you're supposed to be, right? We're talking about coping mechanisms. So what about people that say I'm going to have a drink when I get off of work? That's their coping mechanism. So
every day.
What about that one?
The class I was in class once. They told me that if you have a drink every single day after work, that's alcoholism. They also told me, and this hurt me because I used to be this one. COVID changed it, but they also told me if every Friday and Saturday you go out drinking, you have a problem. I said, what? They were like, yeah, you're because
who
you
said that to you?
This is a class we took on anger management, and it came up.
I agree. Yeah. That's the reason why I made my decision. I didn't have necessarily the same problems some people did. Like some people have like they get drunk drivings. You know what I'm saying? They get a lot of things. Mine was I noticed it became too consistent. You know what I'm saying? I seen that every time anything that didn't happen right, it was because of this. Every time I argued with somebody or went too far, it was because of that. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. So that's where that's where we are with alcohol. So you're trying to say some people, as long as you're a social drinker, it's all right to have a drink for your copingism. Is that what you're saying?
You said for your coping mechanism.
Because people say they get off of work, it's like, oh, I had a long day. I want to have a drink. That's what people say.
Well, maybe that might be their reward system too. Like I think we talked about that too. You know, you do something.
Let's go there.
You've done what you're supposed to do. Now you're like, okay, it's time for this reward. And this goes back to everything tying together. Back to that self-reflection. Why are you doing this? Is this hindering other parts of your life? Right? So everything has a cause, effect, and everything has levels. There's levels to things. I don't really believe in like that black and white. There's a lot of gray.
Maybe we have to look up what a coping mechanism is because right now you're dodging the real questions.
No, I don't think I'm
yeah. Because look, I asked you.
Look it up.
I asked you, is drinking a coping mechanism?
It could be, yeah. Coping means to invest in one's conscious effort to solve personal and interpersonal problems in order to try to master or minimize or tolerate stress. So,
read that.
Help people to adjust to stressful events while helping them maintain their emotional wellness and being. There are strategies that people use in face of stress and or trauma to help manage the painful or difficult emotions. I don't think that's wrong. When you go to surgery, you don't go to surgery without painkillers. It's going to be stress on your body. So you take some painkillers. I just think there's a level to where like, is this taking over? Is this something where I have to have this and I can't resist it? And it, like you said, it's causing problems in other parts of your life. But I don't think there's anything wrong with taking morphine because I'm having surgery, right?
But that's actually like for a procedure though.
I'm saying
there's not a procedure to go out have a drink after work because you had a hard day.
So you feel like drinking is wrong altogether?
No, I do not. I do not think that. I don't.
It might be
So
wrong for
so
some people
so if anybody
altogether.
wanted to ever ask me that question, right? I'm gonna answer it right now. Do I think that? No, I don't. I think it's not for people that are dealing with mental health.
Okay, that I can agree with.
Because if you're dealing with mental health and you're drinking, oh, let's go to the article where it's talking about violence and everything. This is where this when you read this, now picture yourself drunk and then understand why you're in violence. That's the only reason why. Because if you haven't dealt with real issues and then you're using that as your coping mechanism, right? It usually brings the spirit of however you feel out. So
Hmm.
if you're happy, you're gonna be a happy drunk, right? You're gonna be happy. Hey, what's up, y'all? What's going on? Where the party at? Some people are happy drunks, right? And then there's other people that are mean drunks, and the reason why they're mean drunks is because they have mental health situations going on, and they're not properly handling their situations.
You're right. You're right. I think again that acknowledgement, acknowledge is so important. I think
So
that's
yeah,
really the biggest part of everything. Once
because
you
my
do that,
brother,
you can deal with the rest.
yeah, because my brother said that to me. He was like, "Man, I don't know, man." He was like, "Maybe." I was like, "Yeah, I can say it's something that I shouldn't do, but other people, okay, I just, I don't have a problem. I'm not judgmental like that because somebody else's problem might be being greedy with like, or maybe with other greeds. You know what I'm saying? Some people have other things that they know they need to fix, and they want to fix. My whole focus is the things you want to fix. Let's focus on the things you want to do. Forget about the things that you can't do. Those things are
Like
already
what?
happening. Like the things that you like, people have goals. Let's start focusing on goals. Like one thing, one thing, one, one, one. Let's say I want to work on things with my mother. I want to work on things with my brother. I want to work on things with my baby mama. People got people in their lives that they have bad ties with. Let's fix these bonds because once you fix those, it's healing yourself. It's actually healing yourself when you heal relationships. I didn't say be in the relationship again. Nobody said be involved in that relationship again, right? But you should at least acknowledge that they hurt you. You let it go because people say they let it go, but did you talk to them and tell them that you let it go? Even if you get wrote it on paper, you don't
Hmm.
necessarily have to get a hold to the person, but you have to let things go out of your life, or they're
Hmm.
going to consistently haunt you. So when you know what I'm saying. So when you see those things come up in your adult life, you're going to react to them. Like so, a lot of people pay the punishment of other people's mistakes.
Right. Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of people that ruin good relationships because of what somebody did to them in a prior relationship.
Hmm.
Would you
Those
agree with
triggers,
that?
you talked about that earlier. When you realize something triggers you, someone's talking about something, let's say, I don't know, it could be anything, but someone's talking about something and you feel that uncomfortable, right? That aggression coming, that's a trigger. That's a time for self-reflection. What's causing me to have this feeling? What's causing me to back away? What's causing me to build a wall?
Because I built a high anxiety when the show didn't work earlier. I did. I got up. I started pacing. You seen it. You was like, Devin, just calm down. We'll just do it again. Don't trip. We ain't gonna
Hmm.
do that. We ain't gonna let that happen to us because we're destined for greatness. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna calm down, right? So that right there was a testimony.
Yes.
We have to
And
start giving
share
our
your testimony.
yes.
Oh
There it
my
is. You took the
gosh.
word. Say it. Say it.
Don't be afraid to share your testimony. And I think that's one thing I really want us to do here too is everybody that's listening, people that are connected to us, share things that you're going through and either how you overcame it or maybe even how you're still dealing with it.
Even if it's personal, you
Yeah.
send it through chat. It makes a storyline for us. We want
Yeah.
stories that the people are going through. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Because if we're talking about things that's relevant to you, then you're going to be interested in what we're talking about because we want to do the research. We want you to understand that we're there with you. Some people feel like they don't got nobody there for them when they're going through things. That's what this
Yeah.
platform is for. It's like the things that are bothering us, because there's enough there's enough everything already going on in the world, right? Yeah, there is. I'm saying I love it. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I ain't no hater. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you have to figure out what's yours.
I have Facebook here. I know you guys can't really see, but I'm getting some comments. So one person is saying my goal is to not walk on eggshells with my teenagers. And
Ooh,
I'm not
hold on.
quite
Stay,
sure.
stay right there. Let's stay there. That's a good one.
I think she wants to, it's a woman, and I believe that she's wanting to avoid conflict. So she said her goal is to not walk on eggshells with her teenagers. She also said, I used medical marijuana during the end of my marriage. God's honest truth, it helped me avoid confrontational arguments, which often led to violence.
Ooh.
So that's what we were talking about coping. and using those certain items, like what we spoke about, medical marijuana. And she feels like it really helped, in this case, save a life, maybe, you know?
Wow. It does save lives in other conditions as well. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't no hater.
But I
I ain't
really like
against
that.
it.
Not walking on eggshells with my teenagers. That's difficult
Yeah,
sometimes
because
because when
the reason why I
teenagers,
said that's where I'm at with it right now. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Walking on eggshells with teenagers, I mean, it's like you can't avoid it. You know what I'm saying? It's only because they're growing into their own person. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. And when she was saying that coping mechanism worked for them, that's awesome. If it saves somebody's life, amen. But read another comment that was going on.
I have another one here. Turn your mic up a little bit, Devin.
Who said
Work
that?
is an addiction, and work is an addiction.
Who said that to me? Turn my mic up.
This was earlier. Someone said they couldn't hear you very well. The gentleman.
Seriously?
Uh huh. And someone is suggesting a book. Yeah, she said work is an addiction for some
So my sound is
people.
still jacked up. It's all good.
She
It is
just
what it
said
is.
she said she could hear you, but she's needed it a little louder.
God, that's crazy. So what about now, man? I done did half the show. It's probably crispy now, but whatever. We'll figure it out.
Work is an addiction, someone said. Working.
Okay, there we go. So we in the game. I'm probably better now. That's what the family's for. Thank you. Who was that?
That was Carmen. She told us that. She's still watching on Facebook.
I tell Carmen, I said thank you. Does it sound better, Carmen?
See what she says. So yeah, that was a good one. Work. A lot of people do that work, and we've seen it. We've seen marriage. I mean, people in marriage have even had issues, because I'm not getting the attention, and the person just works and works and works to get away from what is reality.
That is fact. Yeah, I'm getting messages as well now too. But but guess what? We're gonna figure it out. I thank you for even coming back on. We got a positive message. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna try to keep it. So somebody give me a topic right now for later next week that you're very interested, that you might have information on that you can share with us, that we can talk more about. We are a We channel for sure. We got mad topics. Don't get it twisted. But we want to hear what you have to say as well, right?
She said, yeah, she hears you very clear and better.
Man, that is ridiculous that happened again, but it's all good. She sent that message at the very beginning.
I didn't know they were messaging on Facebook.
Yeah, but anyways, back to get it. I appreciate the help, but we have to get back to this information. Go to the article right now. Talk about the violence. Let's get to it. Let's talk about.
Yeah, let me share the article link for them to see. I'll share it here.
Let me check something too. So.
Oh wait.
All right, so back to what we were saying about everything about self accountability, y'all. So who's going to join me in this challenge with one thing over the weekend? Just one. Just one thing. I don't care if it's not smoking a cigarette. I don't care if it's not having a drink. I don't care if it's going to the gym 2 out of the 4 days. I don't care if it's calling a family member. What are you going to do this weekend to make your life better? Because all you're doing is helping yourself. It's not for the other person. You are trying to clean your closet. You're trying to clean your closet. We got 2021 coming in. We got a new president coming in. We got a new, you know what I'm saying? We have a new everything. So what are you going to do with this new beginning? Are you going to get your mental health right? Are you going to get this part right? Because if you get this part right, then this part can get right. Watch my body over the time. I'm going to I'm going to do all type of challenges, you know what I'm saying, through this time. Because I want to see improvement from today, from 1 year from now with our show. I want to see our audience look better. I want them to be healthier. I want us to have read more books. I want people to share what books they're reading. What is new out there? What book is great that you think that we need to read that can expand our minds?
Someone actually just shared a book. It's called Unfuck Yourself.
It's called what?
Unfuck Yourself. I haven't read it. Never heard of it. Someone just sent it. I have to check it out, and then maybe I could talk about it next time.
Is it on? Is it one of your friends?
Yeah, that was on Facebook.
Okay.
Let me see who wrote it. It's an Audible book.
It's a real book?
Yeah, it's a book.
And what is the book about?
It says, get out of your head and into your life. It says, it's on Kindle, it's on Amazon, it's on Audible.
Okay, we so I'm
Are
we
you
got.
tired of feeling if you this is a straightforward handbook. It gives you tools and advice you need to demolish the slag weighing you down and become a better version of yourself. Wake up to the miracle you are. Here's what you've forgotten. It
All right,
isn't other people that are standing in your way. It isn't your circumstances that's blocking your ability to thrive. It's yourself and negative self-talk and keep telling yourself. That's what it I read.
all
So it
right.
kind of goes hand in hand in what we're talking about. Just being positive with yourself and not and acknowledging things that are going on and dealing with your reaction to things.
All right, facts. So I feel right now, what are people doing for the holidays? Because right now, is this the season to get together or season to be away from each other?
Away? Why would it ever be a season to be away?
I agree. Well, there's actually people saying that they're not getting with their families because of COVID-19.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, I mean, that's they're not gathering together maybe in the traditional sense, but I think we're doing a lot of different things to stay in contact
The
with
reason
each other.
the reason why I bring that topic up is that's going to bring a lot of mental health issues. If people do
Oh
have
yeah,
COVID, if they do have COVID and they can't be around their family, if their family's like, "Hey, you're in quarantine. I'm not going to see you for Christmas. I'm not going to see you for Thanksgiving. I'm not going to see you for New Year's." You don't think that's going to depress people a little bit?
for sure. The holidays always bring on a lot of depression, a lot of those problems because that feeling of just being alone. You know, I
Yeah,
mean, it's gonna happen. We're gonna have to take different steps. You know, video chat and just what we've been doing the past eight
yeah,
months.
I
Unfortunately,
agree.
this isn't something that seems to be going away very quickly. So we're going to have to learn to deal with it as is.
Yeah, we definitely have to deal with self. So, but at the same time, I feel like I'm worried about this next season for a couple of reasons, because there's still a lot of division, right? And it caused people to be depressed because there's a lot of people that have friends that might have voted for Trump that now they're mad at him. I've seen family members and fall out because of their vote, right?
Mm.
So now people are and you didn't see that? You didn't see nobody fall out because of voting?
I'm sure they have seen a lot of emotional responses.
The reason I'm saying, because I'm watching people go to states of mind where they're feeling alone. I'm reading posts. People are feeling alone right now. And I think it's on purpose. I think God is working on people. I do. I feel like He wants people to self reflect. He wants you to spend time with Him. He wants you to understand what your problems are. They're fixable. He wants you to reevaluate. There's a lot of, you know what I'm saying? It's reevaluation time. So I just worry I pray for our country. I pray for everything right now. You know what I'm saying? I thank you for getting back on right now. I really wanted to hit off some of that good um that topic that we were on. What we sent, where we went over.
Oh, the article?
Yes, please read something. You don't have to go to no
I,
statistics. Don't go to that. Just go to something we can read real quick.
okay. So, overall mental health conditions occur. This article is really on Black and African American people.
Uh huh.
And it says that they occur less frequently than white Americans. However, the historical Black and African American experience in America has contributed to be characterized by trauma and violence more often than their white counterparts. And it
Ooh.
impacts emotional and mental health for both youth and adults.
What?
It goes on to say historical dehumanization, oppression, and violence against Black and African American people has evolved into present day racism. Structural, institutional, and individual, and cultivates a uniquely mistrustful and less affluent community experience. And that's all the things we talked about: the violence, the mistrust, and things like that. Processing and dealing with layers of individual trauma on top of COVID-19, police brutality, and its fetishes in the news media, divisive political rhetoric, adds compounding layers of complexity for individuals responsible to manage. So all those things you just talked about, I mean, that we've seen and it's just kind of been forced and fed on us in every angle, you know? So we're dealing with
Yes.
COVID, we're dealing with police brutality, we're
Yes.
dealing with divisive rhetoric from our leader, you know? And violence in the community. So it's talking about all that. Help
You know
seeking
what?
behavior. Mm-hmm.
The biggest challenge right now that I think that can happen, it sounds, some people might say it sounds far fetched or whatever, but I think it can happen.
Mm.
I think right now, since Black Lives Matter, the movement is very powerful right now, and the voice has spoken right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that we should actively start seeing the murder rate go down in our community. Let's try that, y'all. Let's like from right now until I'm talking. Let's just pay attention to it. Let's just pay attention to it. Let's just see if it actually can happen. I think it can happen. You know how it can happen? If people handle their issues, they're not going to want to kill nobody because they're feeling good about themselves and they feel like there's another level for themselves that they want to go to, and you ain't about to get in my way.
Exactly.
If you love yourself, nobody can get in your way. If you kill that person, they're going to send you to prison. So now you're in your own way. If you love yourself, you're going to do things to find coping mechanisms. I want to know why our young youth thinks they have to murder so fast. So fast. Like they don't think twice. They're just quick to give their life away immediately.
It's not a video game.
It's a double jeopardy though, because they're getting the young man is murdered on top of they getting him for life. Then we wonder why our numbers are consistently decreasing because we have 40% of black men are inside of prison, right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about no that make up the prison. That's not in prison. That make up the prison. Excuse me. Let me.
Right, and we're only 13, like 13% of the population.
We're only 13% of the population and 40%,
Yeah.
right? And 40 whole percent of the 13% that are of our country are inside prison. And you don't tell me that mental health is not a problem? You trying to tell me that people shouldn't ask for help?
Right. But the question is, how do you go about asking for help when we do have like everything's negative behind it and we're always just expected to be strong all the time? It's all you're expected to be is strong.
Yeah.
So how do you, go about asking for help when it's looked down upon almost?
Oh yeah, it's definitely looked down upon because I am not the same energy. People don't hit me up like they used to. My jack ain't hitting like it was because they feel like I ain't no fun. I'm the same person. I'm gonna turn up even more because I know that I ain't about to get in no trouble. I can drive us all home. We good. It sounds corny and all that stuff, but that's what God put on me. That's what I ain't trying to change y'all. Only thing I'm trying to do is be an example for people, right? And that's all you can do. If you work out right and you lose weight and everything works out for your body, your friends are gonna ask you what you did.
Right.
Your friends are gonna ask you what you did immediately.
I think we had this conversation. You and I actually have had this conversation in different aspects of just different conversations. I feel like this has come up. It's been a repeat, but we have to start taking responsibility. When you know better, you have to do better, right? So sometimes people just don't know, and what you don't know, right?
Okay,
so
speaking of people that don't know, what about people that don't have insurance, but they want help, but they don't have insurance?
Oh, you mean to get a professional help?
Yes. What if you want professional help, but you don't have insurance?
Then you need to make some money?
No. Has nothing to do with money sometimes. Because even when you have money, you can work at that point. That means that you're not in the best social class, right? That's what that means, right?
I mean, I didn't have insurance when I had my business.
No, I'm saying, but you can work all you want, and you still can't afford. You can work all you want, but you can't afford it.
Why not?
Because it's expensive.
I went to therapy. I didn't have insurance.
And you paid for it cash?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's motivation. So tell people that. That's what I'm saying. You got to give them that type of information because that's the information that they need. Because some people really have the questions like, I don't have insurance. How do I get help?
First, again, acknowledge, but don't be afraid to ask for help. You don't know what you might get, right? So I might say, I'm self-pay. I really feel like I need help. This person's rate is $150 an hour, right? They're like, you know what? I see that you do need help. Let's do $75 an hour. I'm sorry, but didn't I just see you buy a bag of weed and a case of
There you
beer
go.
and
Yeah, there you go.
you
You
just
hit it.
went
You hit
out?
it. That's
So
what I was talking
now
about.
I've reached out to this therapist. They've allowed me to pay half price. I'm paying
Yeah,
$75, and
yeah.
I'm getting some help. I'm able to talk to someone. For me, I mean I think it's good to deal with people around you, but for me, I really didn't want to talk to people around me. Those people that know me, they 100% look at me as someone that's strong, right? They're like, oh, she's strong, she got it together. So you do kind of want to uphold that image, right? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Of course, I want to uphold it. So those people, I think it's difficult
I
to
think
talk
it's
to
very
them.
important that people care what people think. Point blank.
Yeah.
Period.
So I was like, I need help, and I'm cash paying. Maybe you can work with me. You might get a no, but so what? Try, speak out, ask for help. Maybe talk to a friend. Hey, do you know anyone that's doing this? There's also not only that. I'm an esthetician, and when I was in school, guess what? There's people that are practicing. Go to your local college and find people that are in these programs that are looking for people to talk to because they need the
Facts.
practice. They need you as a case study.
I agree.
So
I agree.
the one thing I love about our country is the freedom,
Yeah.
and there's a little bit of something for everybody. But if you're not reaching out, if you're not trying to get help, if you're just going into your little hole and woe is me, or you're not acknowledging that you need help, then you're not going to get it. But if you really want it, you're going to get it.
And that's a good ending point right there. So go ahead, let the people know what's going on with the show. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. It was beautiful. I am so proud of you. If my audio is bad, I'm leaving it this time. I don't care. I'm gonna fix it, whatever it is, y'all. Stick with me. You know what I'm saying? Stick with me. Thank you for everybody. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you. Let's keep it going. We're gonna do it again tomorrow. Everybody that tune in again. All we want to do is get better. Also,
Right.
all we
And
want to do it.
if you're watching this and it's not live, leave us a comment. We'll talk about it tomorrow. If you want to hear something else or you have a question that you feel like we should research or bring up, go ahead and leave us a comment so we can do that for you.
And that's it. That is what is up. Thank you so much, friend. I appreciate you more than you ever would know for this. We're going to have another awesome show for you guys tomorrow. Once again, it's your boy Woods. And I'm with my co-host, Krista.
That's me. I love you guys.
I love y'all too. Love.